Greetings from Tel Aviv, Israel. TECHOVER comes to you from the Cybertech Tel Aviv 2025. My name is Brian Jodutieno, and as always, NTV's in-house techie. Welcome to Africa's biggest tech show and conversation. Today, we'll be speaking about the future of cyber security. Israel has that global reputation of being a cyber secure country. What are some of these things that they've done? They've been able to do all this time to be cyber secure. Just yesterday, because I've been here for about 2 days now, I've been here for an entire week, but just yesterday we were at the National Directorate for Cyber Security. It's called INCD. And so we saw a live feed of just how many ransomware, how many attacks, how many cyber attempts are going through and how they're able to avert that. But this and so much more in the main conversation. Let's now start off with the tech news of the week.
The recent imposition of US tariffs has had a profound impact on key technology stocks, leading to significant market volatility and raising concerns about the broader implication for the tech industry. On April 3rd, 2025, the magnificent 7 tech giants, Apple, Amazon, Meta Platforms, Nvidia, Tesla, Alphabet and Microsoft collectively experienced a historical $1 trillion loss in market capitalization. Apple Inc. bore the brunt of this downturn, with its stock plummeting 9.3%, resulting to a $311 billion reduction in market value. The decline was largely attributed to investor apprehensions regarding Apple's heavy reliance on Chinese manufacturing and the potential disruptions stemming from the newly announced tariffs. The tariffs introduced by President Donald Trump encompassed a 54% levy on Chinese imports, directly affecting companies like Apple that depend on Chinese manufacturing facilities. Additionally, tariffs of 26% on Indian and 46% on Vietnamese goods further complicated the operational landscape for tech firms with diversified supply chains in these regions. The broader market felt the repercussions, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropping nearly 1,700 points, the Nasdaq Composite falling 1,050 points, and the S&P 500 declining 275 points. Beyond the immediate financial losses, these tariffs have introduced substantial operational challenges for tech companies. Firms are now compelled to reevaluate and potentially structure their global supply chains to mitigate the impact of increased production costs. For instance, companies in the computer networking, cybersecurity, and fiber optic equipment sectors such as Arista Networks and Fortinet experienced significant stock declines as they grappled with the implications of the tariffs on their manufacturing and assembly operations. The uncertainty surrounding the duration and scope of these tariffs has also led to cautious approach among investors and company management. Analysts have expressed concerns that prolonged trade tensions could dampen consumer demand, disrupt supply chains, and increase operational costs, thereby squeezing profit margins. This environment of unpredictability has prompted some companies to consider shifting manufacturing operations closer to their primary markets to reduce exposure to tariff-related risks. In response to these challenges, some tech firms are exploring alternative strategies to navigate the tariff landscape. For example, media companies like Comcast, Netflix, Fox, and Charter Communications have been identified as potentially more resilient due to their predictable revenue streams and lower exposures to international trade dynamics. Additionally, companies with focus on domestic production and digital products may find themselves less directly impacted by these tariffs, allowing them to maintain a competitive edge in the current environment.
Thank you so much for making time for us on NTV Kenya. This is the show that talks about all things technology, from trends, policy, events like this one, and we are glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
I'm Rami Efrati. I'm one of the founding members of the Israeli National Cyber Directory,
Yeah.
dealing with cyber for many years. And the main things that I'm dealing these days is supporting nations and governments to make sure that the whole country will be fully protected, especially in the civilian business.
Great. Cybertech has been here for the last 10 years. A decade later, what is different about this year's event that has not been seen previously?
The biggest change is, first of all, that we had a war. And we had a war that enabled us to understand very, very well that cyber is taking a very important role as if it is exactly a kinetic war, first of all. Second, that cyber is taking very important role because it is using the network, the internet, and using the internet, deep fake, misinformation, disinformation became a very important or took a very important role in dealing with these things.
Amazing. And of course, now artificial intelligence plays a big role. Just how is it going to affect the future of cybersecurity and averting any exposures or risks towards this?
The main technology that I believe made the biggest change is the AI, artificial intelligence. Because you are dealing with multi-meta information that you need to analyze, and you need to analyze it as close as possible to a real time.
Exactly.
Without AI, you cannot do it.
Yes.
AI enabled both the attackers at the same time, also the cybersecurity people to do better things. For the hackers, unfortunately, they are looking for new vulnerabilities, 0 days. AI is helping them. At the same time, the security guys are taking AI in order to identify, maybe they will find out who is going to do what and when, and this is very important as well. The big change of using so much information is the only thing that we cannot do it anymore by ourselves, only without the technology. So I believe AI is taking today and is going to take much more and bigger part in dealing with cyber.
Amazing. In the examples or varieties of cybersecurity threats that are there, phishing remains the biggest. Of course, there are so many others. But will we ever face out phishing? And if yes, how would that look like?
Phishing cannot be a one way. The most important or the most costly way is hacking through a 0 day, meaning you need to have very special guys with a lot of information, with a lot of experience and professionalism in order to find a 0 day. I believe that now with the AI, it is going to be much easier, which is a big risk to the world as well. And we have to be prepared for this.
Okay.
So not only phishing, there are so many other things, and deepfake is going to take a very important role because the guys who are calling you and the guys who is sending you a message is not a guy anymore. Is an avatar. Is a computer.
Correct.
Or many computers who are sending it to you. And remember, when you feel as if you are being attacked from Kenya, as a matter of fact, it was a server that was bought in any other country for $5 per day, and after this it disappears. So it's very uneasy to identify the source of the attack.
And now with virtual private networks, it also becomes very easy to locate that IP address.
For sure.
Have you found a way around that, by the way? The virtual private networks.
I know what is a VPN. I know very well. I know that today there are some solutions in order to identify also the IP of the VPNs. It is existing, and it will be much more easier.
Okay.
I mean, it will be a process. Those who are using the VPN today will find other ways. The other guys will try to find. So it is never-ending war between the defender and the attacker.
Israel has a big reputation of being a cyber-secure country, despite everything else that's currently going on. What can Africa, and Kenya in particular, where I come from, learn from the trends, the models we've been able to deploy around cybersecurity that we can employ successfully to avert any risks in our financial, in our big data, like citizen registry and the like?
The most important part that the government has to identify is that they have a treasure in their hand in Kenya, and these are the young people, the young academia, the people who would like to come out with new solutions, people who would like also to deal with the new trends. Therefore, the government has to identify and to write a new strategy. This strategy has to be supported by a financial, a lot of money, millions of dollars, in order to help the people, both the startups, both the academia, and some others.
Yes.
This is a process that we have done in Israel for years.
Yeah.
We started it with the defense. We did it also now with food tech.
Yeah.
Of course, with cyber tech and all the other technology that we are looking. If the government of Kenya would decide we would like to keep the young people in Kenya, not letting those successful ones to leave, they will find, and I will be more than happy to help about it, they will find the right way how to build the mechanism that these people will be able to gain both a success and also a knowledge. And the most important thing, make sure, and the government has to know it, not every startup is a success.
Yeah.
Many of them, 95% fails.
There's a high mortality.
But if you fail and you have your lessons learned and you're able to go more and do it again, and the government believes in you, then the government will be benefited 10 times from those who are very successful in this business.
Great. Of course, this is happening against the backdrop of Israel and Africa, a potential cooperation. Just what kind of support is the Israeli government planning to give Africa and Kenya in particular with regard to cooperation in averting any cyber and digital advancements?
I'm looking at Africa the same as I'm looking at Europe and the USA.
Yeah.
Meaning we have to share, we have to support. Our academia is open for people from Africa, for instance.
Great.
We are ready to share because the minute we will share with you, you will share with us. And if you are going to face an attack, that we should find a way how to support you or how to mitigate it from Israel, we will do it. It is a world mission to have a cooperation, to build the trust together and make it a stronger world.
Great. We are just coming into Israel at a time when Wiz, a successful startup from this land, has been bought out by Alphabet, the parent company of Google, at $32 billion US, such a huge and historic tech acquisition. What was the component of success that led to this?
First of all, it starts with the founders.
Yeah.
What is the knowledge? How do they know to work together? How do they identify the right product?
Yeah.
And these guys, which is most of them have done before another exit on a company called Adalom, they are amazing people. I know them from the first day.
Yeah.
More than that, they got all the support also from the government.
Yes.
Meaning they brought the money, but when companies like Wiz are started, we support them with the business development. We support them with the platforms that enable them to get the money, and we believe in them.
For sure.
If we believe. And this is not the only company. This is a huge, huge success, and they worth it. Some people will say, why did they sell it only for $32 billion?
Yeah.
They could have become public and make it $100 billion.
Yeah.
But this was their decision, and I appreciate it. And they have a great product. They are not the only one. We have with us CyberArk. We have other companies that are doing an amazing job. Even Palo Alto started with an Israeli.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you understand that dealing with cyber is first of all important.
Yeah.
Second, that you have a chance to grow and even make an exit, which is not a bad word.
Yeah.
And the government supporting you in order to do it, this is not a miracle anymore. This is a process. I think you can do it in Africa. I think you can do it in Kenya. I met their people in Kenya. I know how talented they are.
Yes.
Let's do it together.
Amazing. Lastly, your panel is in this cybertech conference. It's coming up in the afternoon. What will you be speaking about that we need to know? What is the summary of your panel?
I'm going to speak to lead two panels.
Yes.
One of them is about the big change that happened.
Yes.
That cyber wars
Yes.
started by nations, not only by crime organization.
Yeah.
Second, I'm going to speak about new technology, new solution, and the threat of AI in cybersecurity.
All right, great. By the way, have you been able to craft policies to regulate artificial intelligence in Israel?
No. And I just read an article this morning that the American big AI companies like Facebook and others, they are asking not to have any regulations. I believe there should be ethics regulations, but we will come to it soon and we will understand why Some people want it and some other doesn't.
I followed the proceedings in Paris AI Summit, the Paris AI Global Summit, and I've noted Vice President Vance of America did not sign some of those commitments that the European Union countries were signing. So does that spell doom for the rest of the world, considering America is superpower?
I believe the Americans are very smart people.
Yeah.
Before they take a decision, they check it. They check it with the public. They check it with the private company. They check it with the industry, and then they will come to the right solution.
Right.
This is the way. Don't just come like this. Okay, let's make a regulation. Maybe yes, maybe not. But before you come to such a decision, like the decision done about privacy, GDPR, and also the one in the US, it took time. But when you decide, and can also be changed in the future, I think that the reason that it didn't sign, because they didn't finish yet to do all the, let's call it, homework about.
Thank you so much, Rami, for speaking to us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. See you in Nairobi. Bye-bye.
Thank you. There you have it. That's the conversation on cybersecurity and how you can protect yourself from any possible attacks that may be launched against your devices, your systems, especially for the financial organizations. Time now for a short break, and then we'll be back with more. We're coming to you live from Tel Aviv in Israel. This is CyberTech 2025. Don't go too far. Welcome back to TECHOVER. You're watching Africa's biggest tech conversation from Tel Aviv, Israel. This year we are coming to you from CyberTech 2025. Israel has quite a robust startup culture, and they have beautiful innovations that have gotten big acquisitions. Just this week, there's been a lot of euphoria around Wiz being acquired by Alphabet, the parent company for Google. Google, which you know, the search engine provider, YouTube, and so many other services that come with the Google package. And so, here then is your startup of the week.
Kenya's event scene has witnessed immense growth in the recent past that has seen the country host global events, marking significant milestones and turning points for the country's conferencing and hospitality industry. However, with an influx of these events, their fragmentation causes either a glut or inadequate information on what is happening where. Harry Odhiambo, the founder of TurnUp, sought to solve the challenge with more value add other than just publishing events on the application.
TurnUp is basically a platform, an online platform for events that allows basically people to upload events and other people to discover events. How it works is there's a number of events happening around at any time. And there's so many people that are creating these events. And the challenge is that people don't have a platform to really showcase the events. You'd probably be charged for it, or you need to remove a couple of bucks so that your event gets the visibility it deserves. So that got me thinking, there was a gap somewhere in the market, and we thought TurnUp is something that could come and help bridge this gap, whereby event organizers are trying to reach customers on a daily basis, and people out there are constantly trying to find out what's the next best event, what's happening around me, something that I can take interest in. And currently there's quite no platform that is giving people this space. So we thought, let's create this platform, allow people to be able to post their own events, just the way you upload something on Instagram. You have an event, you can upload it. If you're not an event organizer yourself, you can be a promoter, and you want to share some events, so you upload them on the platform, and then other people who download the app can simply scroll and see the events that have been uploaded.
TurnUp's current business model is event ticketing, and realizing commissions between the ticket sales helps sustain the business.
So we offer ticketing just as a service, because of course if you allow you to share your event on the platform, then you should be able just to sell tickets. So this is one of the models that we have, among other models that we are yet to release in our later versions.
Harry says with the sharp growth in events has given a lifeline to the business as the market has warmed up to turn up.
The market is quite good at the moment. When we launched a couple of years back, I could say that the market wasn't ready. As most countries in Africa, Kenya we're a bit ahead, but in African countries, events are not really seen as quite a lucrative business, as such. And more so due to the traditional African, ideology of, if you're gonna do business, it has to be this way, maybe structured way. And so when it came now to, basically when it comes to how us guys now offer this service to the end consumer. So you can imagine if you're trying to find an event at the moment, you don't have any place that you can just go and find these events. Yeah. So for us, when we look at the market, it's now ripening because as people started, as the new generation is starting to come up, and these other opportunities are becoming less and less. People don't have jobs out there. You finish the degree, you don't have a job. So many people are turning to other side ventures, which is like event organizing. And this has now made the market ripe because more young people are getting encouraged to do events. And when they see other people doing events, more people are now doing events. And now this has led to, currently I'd say the market is quite ripe because if you look anywhere, there's quite a number of events happening. I believe Nairobi particularly has had an upsurge of clubs. There's nightclubs popping everywhere, bars, And this is now means that the market is ripe because we want to give people access to these events.
And while turn-up turns up the event scene, there is a sharp reality of competition that is a challenge they have to deal with daily. A phenomenon, he says, they are prepared for.
How we look to edge out this competition is simply by providing the service that other people have looked aside from. Like I said just a couple statements back, you see most of the competition is focusing on ticketing. So for instance, if I would give just another service, one of the players here that host a lot of events for people, we have Hustle Sasa, we have Tickets. What these platforms are doing is you will upload your event on that platform only if you're selling tickets. Yeah. You see, so what us guys do at TurnUp is we looked at this and we thought, what are we trying to do? For me, I'm not trying to sell tickets. Yeah. There's already so many platforms doing that, So I'm just trying to get your event discovered. And how can I help you do this? So if you come to list your event on TurnUp, you'll find that you can go put your event, include all the details, and even upload the link where you're selling tickets to direct you to any other platform. Yeah. So if you're selling your tickets on Hustle Sasa, on Tickets, you name it, whichever platform in the whole world, you can simply upload your event and add your event ticket link, and someone can book your event straight from TurnUp. So I will go and I'll click book, it will direct me to wherever you're selling your tickets. So how is this like, let's say, an added benefit? It's because now we're sort of creating a one-stop shop for all events. So basically you can download the app, and no matter where tickets are being sold, you don't have to go and leave. I don't have to go and look for this event and then go visit this other website to buy a ticket and then come back to their social media, So this is a one-stop shop. You come there, it's sort of like all tickets under one roof.
As a bootstrapped business, he says the biggest challenge in the country is getting venture capitalists to invest in the industry.
The biggest challenge that we faced personally has been the acknowledgement of this event industry as a lucrative industry, even for investment, even for people who are trying to, to believe in the brand as well. I've come to see that, most people are, in order for you to show people what you're doing, they take quite some convincing. A big challenge that we've noticed is that unlike maybe foreign markets where people are very open and they adopt technology quite easily, the challenge is that people tend to stick to the technology they know. And they're not quick to adopt. So this has been a challenge for us because we're trying to come into this space and we want to show everyone that you can use our platform, even with our competitors. If you have events that listed there, we'd rather have you come and put your events on our platform because in the end, if someone discovers an event that is selling tickets with Eventbrite, they buy tickets. We are still helping you generate some income. So the main challenge has mainly been more so the mentality. A challenge I've also faced is, I've been trying to raise investment, has been the mentality of investors as well, who don't see the event space, particularly in Kenya, let's say Africa, as an opportunity to invest in. Traditionally, people would want to invest in fintechs, healthcare, solar, agriculture, something, you know. So that's been the tradition, and while I see it as an opportunity, it has pushed me to sort of get this thing off the ground on my own. So I've pushed it. I am my sole investor with just a few maybe friends and well-wishers over here. But we've decided we want to push it and show people also that, you know, if you really believe in your own project and you believe in your idea, that no one can stop you from, you know, from achieving it.
And that is our startup this week.
Very well, there you have it. Now, time now for our DIY this week. Here is the tech tip of the week, and then we'll close the show right here.
Hi guys, and welcome to this week's tech tip of the week. If you own an iPhone and you notice that your data ends fast or is being consumed pretty quickly, here are some settings that you can change which will reduce your data usage. First, go to settings, then go to mobile data or cellular. Then scroll down and right here under apps, click show all. Right here, you're going to see all the apps that are using up your data in order. So go ahead and turn off the ones that you do not need and you see are consuming a lot of data. And I always recommend turning off photos. Then go back and then scroll down and then make sure that you turn off iCloud Drive and iCloud Backup. These two consume a lot of data and you will rather use these features on Wi-Fi. I hope you found this helpful. That's it for this week. See you in the next one.
Thank you so much for making time for us on TECHOVER. That's where we end the show today. And coming from Cybertech Tel Aviv 2025, the clarion call here, as always in any cybersecurity forum, is trust but verify. You're never too sure of those links that are being forwarded to your email. So don't just click them anyhow. Don't just click those things, because you need to insulate yourself from any kind of an attack. And what we are trying to say also is that if you are online and are doing a lot of social media interactions, then basic stuff like two-factor authentication would work well to protect you online. And that's where we leave it at from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much once again for making time on TakeOver. I'm Brian George Atieno. Stay techie and may tech live forever.